What are some of the tips and strategies that I can share that have helped me to earn $2,000 or more in 4 consecutive weeks, and having now reached earning at least $8,000 in a month while working out of my spinner/cargo van and putting in local miles? I'll share some of these things on this segment of the Gig Geezer. If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, if you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, hey, thanks for coming by. And if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. There is more than one way of earning money with your sprinter/cargo van. The way that I'm sharing how I've made my money is through working gig apps, primarily last mile gig apps, although I still do gig food delivery apps. All this is being accomplished while working primarily out of the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area. Now, I acknowledge too that what I'm doing here in Columbia may not work in your market, and markets do have some impact on how you, on what you're able to earn, what you're able to accomplish. But I do believe that some of the tips and strategies that I will share in this segment of the Gig Geezer may help you, if not meet, but exceed the goals that you've set. So what we're going to do is go into the actual action, the actual footage that I documented while earning $2,000 or more in the most recent week, which was the week from July 10 through July 16, 2023. You're kind of joining me in progress as I head up to complete a freight opportunity that is going to be my last gig opportunity of today, Saturday, July 15, 2023, but also for this current work week, which is from Monday, July 10, 2023 through tomorrow, Sunday, July 16, 2023. The significance of this particular gig opportunity is that it's going to put me well over $250 for today, which is kind of unexpected. But also, it's going to put me over 2 pounds again for the 4th consecutive week. And I'm sharing this with y'all. Now, how I came about getting to 2 G's for the 4th consecutive week, at least based on what I did today. I came out about 8:30 this morning, and quite honestly, I thought that today was going to be a half a day. I was not thinking of putting in a full day, but I end up putting in basically the full day today. It's not altogether. I will have put in 6 hours today. So I started at like 8:30 this morning, and I went until like 1 o'clock. And in that time, I went out and I started with a roadie opportunity for $20.40. That roadie opportunity was a grill. And I'm not thinking anything of it. Okay, but then I caught what was a point pickup opportunity that was a tire order, and it was going back out in my direction to Lugoff. And I actually picked up the fucking tire, but somehow I forgot to confirm it as picked up on the app, and so the app canceled it on me. But fortunately, I happened to see it on the freight app, the same order. I've got tire in hand. I've got the invoice in hand. Now there was a cancellation of $3 on the point pickup app, but on the freight app, that opportunity turned out to pay $31.50. So now I'm at $51 and change. Along the way, I got another roadie opportunity that paid $20.40, and that turned out to be a big ass life-size Mattel vehicle for the kids. It was a big box. I mean, it kind of brought back memories of the Mattel model scale, the scale model cars that I had decades ago back in the late 1960s. That should tell you how old I am. But I remember when they were first popularized, and they were made in Hawthorne, California. And Those are the little die-cast Hot Wheels. And then I remember the Sizzlers that came Man, I wish they'd come back with the Sizzlers though. The Sizzlers are bad. But anyway, so I had delivered that, and then I'm thinking, all right, maybe I'm done for today, and I'm setting things up for tomorrow. But then again, that wasn't enough money made, I'm thinking. And so what ends up happening, I happen to catch a point pickup that paid $17 and change. And then I also caught a Grubhub, and the two orders were going on the same street on opposite ends of the block, but it was on the same street. And so that was a $30 plus opportunity. So now I'm looking at what, $100 and change. And then I had another home delivery opportunity, and that one paid $50. That was 10 planks of plywood. And so now I'm at $1.50 for the day. I'm at $1.50 for the day. And that put me at over $1,900. So I'm thinking I'm in good position. I'm at $1,902. I'm in pretty good position for tomorrow. So now what ends up happening, I'm supposed to meet up with a fellow driver and put in some plywood into his van, but somehow it didn't go that way. Now I finished at about 1 o'clock, so 4.5 hours in, and I go home. I finish uploading a video, and I go to sleep. Wake up a couple hours later, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to Harbor Freight, get some drill bits, just to make sure I had the right size drill bits instead of what I had the last time when I did when I put in my E-Tracks. And while I was en route to Harbor Freight, I get a bungee opportunity. And this bungee opportunity was basically a freight opportunity, but under the guise of bungee. And so it paid $51.11 to drop off 2 boxes of wood flooring and a couple of other light items. So that paid $51.15. And so now I'm at $210 for today, and over $1,950. And then this freight opportunity comes back out, and I'd seen it earlier. I actually fell asleep on it actually came up when I was asleep. Then it came up again, and it went away. And then it comes up a third time. Now, when you see it a third time, it's like, this one is for you. You better get it. They always say, what's for you, you're gonna get? Well, obviously this one was for me. And so you didn't have to tell me a third time to get this bad boy. And so that's where I'm at. We are we're probably about 15 to 20 minutes away from the store. But there are some things that have come to mind in the midst of my earning what I have earned over the last 4 weeks. And by the way, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer or in any other segment of the Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. Now, one thing that I'm going to establish up front, there's more than one way to make money operating out of your Sprinter / cargo van. I've been doing mine mostly working gig apps, namely the last mile gig apps. And that has proven to be this transaction, as I've mentioned in a couple of these segments of the Gig Geezer recently. This transaction has turned out to be a very good decision, a very good move for me, because as the gig food delivery drivers have spoken of how it's been rough this summer, and it's gotten rougher, at least in the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area, because this is the time of year where everybody's going on vacation. They're getting the hell out of Columbia, and I've said that often anyway. But in mid-July, it really gets dry. Yeah, I know that's a nice little rhyme there. But that wasn't intentional. I look back over last year, and I recall how I struggled to make $200 a day working out of my F-150. So can you imagine trying to make that when there's even more people out here working the gig apps, and there are fewer people using or making orders on these gig food apps, it makes for very uncomfortable times. So with me basically giving myself even more options working this Sprinter/cargo van, I've not felt the impact of the slow trend that actually exists here in the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area. In fact, it not only has it given me more options, it has allowed me to employ the other strategy of working a certain radius from home. And I believe that's one of the things that have enabled me to make the numbers that I've made in recent weeks. But throughout 2023, I mean, as of today, I'm right at about overall 1099 earnings. I'm right at about 52,000 this year. Of that, damn near 50,000 of it has been earned working and operating out of this Sprinter/cargo van. I challenge someone to say that I'm not making any money doing this. I mean, I've been looking at some other content here on the YouTube, and it's from drivers who whose life is over the road driving. They're putting in anywhere between 8 and 14,000 miles a month, and I'm putting in less than half of those miles. The month of June, I put in 6,400 miles, but I made just south of $9,000. Now, if I put in those same type of miles, if you were to try to translate those numbers over 12,000 miles, shit, I'd be making $18,000 based on those type of miles. Whether it's realistic, I'd make 18,000. That remains to be seen. But my point is that I have given myself options, and so I don't want that to be the sole theme. But I hope that you see that's one of the things that has worked in my favor. And again, there's more than one way to make money operating out of a Sprinter/cargo van. And I've mentioned how what I want to do is the van being the beginning and not the beginning and the end. There are a couple of components that are still missing in what I would say is my repertoire of making money. I just happen to be doing what I'm doing as of this juncture. Enough of that talk. Another thing is that what I've noticed is, obviously, the money that you make, you can't plan on making that money. And I've shared something like this doing gig food delivery work. But I do believe that you can go out here every day with a certain expectation of what you should make. An expectation that is really your guiding force to making what you do at the end of the day, at the end of the week, and at the end of the month. I've been very consistent with the stated goals. I've gotten to a point now where I am making at a minimum $300 a day working on this Sprinter/cargo van. I'm sure that there are those who are going to say, well, you should be making at least $300 a day, God damn it. And you're right, and I am now. So yeah, I can say that. You know, I can pimp my walk and grab my Johnson if I want to. But that's not the way I do things. I've always been about results. So the other thing is that I said a stated goal is really to make $400-500 a day. Well, I'm starting to hit those numbers too. And now with the numbers of $8,000 to $9,000 a month, I'm definitely tracking to make $8,000 this month. I made over that last month. I did it earlier in the year. All I'm getting at, while it is unpredictable, you can set certain expectations over time, and that becomes your guiding measure, your guiding force, your guiding light, your guiding stick, whatever you want to call it. That's going to be the thing that keeps you on track each day, each week, each month. The next thing my observation about as I've entered into these type of numbers is that there will never really be a go-to app. All that can happen is that you have your apps on and that you try to put yourself in position, or you make yourself available. That's the other thing. These are no closely kept secrets. This is not rocket science. Although for someone like me, working out of a Sprinter/cargo van, working the gig apps as I have, and I shared this with someone recently, I'm at a stage in life, and I've mentioned this too. If someone were to look at my resume that I would put together and look at the year that I earned my degree in journalism, they don't want me. If someone looked at on my birth certificate, if somebody looked at my date of birth, they don't want me. Number one, they're not gonna. And again, with the money that I'm making, who in the hell is gonna offer me off the street $90,000 a year? Who? So, I'm in a position where I need to make what I can while I can, but also be mindful of trying to scale my business, try to scale this transport operation, which is what I'm working on. So the next thought that comes to mind over these past several weeks is that I've said this time and time again. I hear people talk about, I'm starting my cargo van business. I want to get in the cargo van business. Do you really know what you're doing when you say that? Do you really know what you're saying? You're saying that you're saying that this is not going to be your side hustle anymore. You're saying this is going to be your primary source of income. Or it's going to be it's going to be primary source income 1A or 1B, or it's going to be very high on the list, like primary source of income 1 or 2. It can't be side hustle type thing, because if you treat this as a side hustle, you're going to get side hustle type results. This has to be something that especially if you're talking about, if you go out, even if you went out and bought a van cash deal and all, you still got insurance. You still got to put money in the tank. You still got to maintain it. There are costs involved. And as I shared in this segment of the Gig Geezer, my two largest ticket items each month are my commercial insurance, which is $1,520 each month, and gas, which varies, but definitely over $1,000 a month is spent on gas. So at a bare minimum, I'm spending at a bare minimum, but more than likely on average for those two items, anywhere between $2,500 and $3,000 a month. So I have incentive to get out here and do what I need to do. Now you got those who are going to say, well, you say you're making that, but then you take out the expenses and you consider taxes and all that, and you're not really making that type of money, but you got to make it before you can spend it. And I'll say this again too: when you apply for credit cards, when you apply for loans, when you apply for renting an apartment or a house or even a home loan, do they count your net income or do they count your gross income? Okay. And then there are those who talk about taxes. Well, if you are a sole proprietor, yes, you can put money back for taxes. But if you're putting money back for taxes, it's one of two things. You're thinking that at the end of the year you're still going to owe, or you're putting back with the intent of trying to get a tax refund. Well, the way I operate things is I operate with the intent on knowing that I'm going to pay. But what I owe at the end of the year, what I owe is much less than a W-2. And actually I showed on this segment of the Gig Geezer how a 1099 can actually owe less taxes than a W-2. So those are some of the observations that I have come up with with earning what I've earned over the last several weeks and just throughout 2023. And I'm also about less than 5 minutes away from the pickup location. All right, so according to freight, it said that the dimensions of this order may not fit your van. Yeah, right. Well, it turned out the dimensions of the items to be delivered were 10 bales of hay, 10 bales of pine straw, whatever you want to call it, but it's 10 bales of hay, if for whatever it's worth. And as you see here, they fit well within my van. And this is one that had been around for the last almost 4 hours today. And that's what I mean by, obviously it just must have been meant for me to have it, because I was asleep 4 hours ago when this order actually first appeared. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna join you again at the drop-off location, and then from there we'll wrap things up. Before we move on, I do want to mention though that now one thing I do want to mention is some folk want to know, what is my strategy? What is it I really do? Is there really a secret? And there's really, and I've said this, I'm repeating myself though, but there's no real secret of what I do. What I've done is employ some of the same basically the same strategy as I had done when I was just operating out of the F-150 doing primarily gig food delivery work. And the thing is that you don't accept everything. You accept less to earn more. But secondly, you're working multiple apps and you're stacking multiple orders across multiple apps when the opportunities present itself. Case in point, yesterday, after I'd come back from a couple of good paying opportunities, I came back from the Myrtle Beach area having earned already $381, and 250 of it was a curry opportunity in which I transported 30 5-gallon containers of paint. So that was 1,500 pounds, and that opportunity paid me $250. And apparently somebody had really anyway, obviously that was for me, and so it was an opportunity for me to take bring the queen in my life along with me. And so we've spent an entire day together over in the Myrtle Beach area. And but anyway, when I came back, I wanted to make at least $450 yesterday, and so I got it really on one big sweep, in that I happened to catch a large order DoorDash opportunity that offered $24.50 right from the start. And then I happened to catch almost simultaneously a triple stacked Instacart at the nearby Sam's, and the offer amount was $49.93. Ultimately, the DoorDash order paid $32.49, and the Instacart, one of the 3 orders actually canceled because it was a single item that the person had requested and they didn't have it, and so I didn't get the tip amount, so I missed out on like $4. But that order paid $45.62, and so altogether I made over $78 on a pretty good suite there, where I actually stacked together a triple stacked Instacart along with a DoorDash, and I did not get a contract violation. Now, I know that's risky, but you just have to know what you have to know. You just have to know what you can do. Sometimes you do take chances, but also you have to know your market geographically in order to pull it off. And I was able to pull that off. And I've done other things. I've stacked gig orders, last mile orders together. I've stacked a catering order with a gig order. I've done a little bit of everything, man. Nothing is out of the realm of possibility with me. So with that, we're gonna go to the drop-off location. I'm gonna show where I drop things off at the drop-off location, and we'll wrap up this particular segment of the Gig Geezer. And by the way, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm probably about 5 minutes removed from having finished that freight order that actually paid $71.02. And as you see here on the inset, those were the 10 bales of pine straw grass that were delivered. And for today, I mean, this is not a planned full day, but in 6.5 hours, I earned $281.29. And for the week, I earned $2,024.83. Now, from over this 30-day stretch, from June 16, 2023 to today, July 15, 2023, I have earned $8,850.32. And, you know, it's not bad. It's definitely within the realm of conversation, what I've been sharing, what I've been aspiring to do. Now the weeks, again, I'm just going to go over them. This week, $2,024.83. Last week, $2,059.73. I put in 5.5 days last week. This week, I put in 6 days. The week before that, $2,104.44. That was 6.5 days. And $2,003.74. I believe I put in 6 days. It may have been 6.5 days though, but it was 6 or 6.5 days that week. And so I've gotten the days worked back down to something where what I've been known to do, which is anywhere between 5 and 6 days in a week. The thing is that I've been rather consistent with my numbers, especially over the last couple of weeks. Today I did not go for $300. I had no intention of going for $300. Although if I really want to go for ego's sake, I could turn on the DoorDash app, I could turn on the Grubhub app, I could turn on the Instacart app and make the next $20. But I don't want to, and I believe I've earned that free pass. But I've shared the numbers. I've shared some thoughts about how I believe what some of my observations over the last few weeks in terms of earning $2,000 or more in 4 consecutive weeks, working primarily gig apps and out of my spinner/cargo van. And if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer and any other segment of the Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane, and as always, may your grind and may your hustle continue.